Since he was elected on Wednesday evening, the world has watched every move that the newly elected Pope has made.
And today, tens of thousands of people are expected to gather in St Peter's Square for an address and blessing from Pope Francis. It is his first public appearance since being elected, but he's already been busy setting the tone for his papacy.
Yeah, to discuss the Pope's plans for the Catholic Church, we're joined now by Pat Brown from the Catholic Women's Ordination Pressure Group. Good morning to you, Pat. Thanks very much for coming in bright and early. What are you hoping for from Pope Francis?
Well, the signs are very good. I mean, obviously, I didn't know an awful lot about him before he was made Pope. I don't know that anybody did, but he seems to be a man of the people. He seems to be a listener. He seems to want to reform the Curia, which is the sort of governing body, if you like, for people who don't know. And that's a great news for us, because that's... You know, we were forbidden to even discuss women's ordination under Pope John Paul II and Pope Benedict. And I think he will relax that and he will stop that sort of hierarchical power.
You know, your goal would be, I guess, women's ordination, but there is a road of steps towards that goal. How far do you think he might go down the road?
Well, what I'm hoping is that he will open up dialogue between the laity and the clergy and the hierarchy, and I think because he's interested in justice, surely he will see that this is a justice issue. I mean, I think in the present climate, it's very hard for people to say, people in the hierarchy, to say that they're in favour of women's ordination, or indeed any of the other issues that the Church is apparently against, because you know, there just isn't. There's a sort of climate of fear of people being able to express themselves. If they do, there are bishops and priests who have come out in favour of women's ordination, and they've been thrown out. You know, so.
Sorry, Pat, I was just going to say, I mean, Sally made the point, it's almost like it's such an enormous leap. It is going to be a series of baby steps in order to get there.
And the first step is to reform the Curia, in my view. And I think...
So what's the Curia? What does that mean?
Well, the Curia are the people in power, if you like. You know, it's a bit like if you think about the Prime Minister and the Cabinet, it's sort of the Cabinet. And
Has he got time to do that, though? Because, I mean, you're talking of centuries of Catholic teaching, of religious teaching, and he's 76.
We have to see, but he says he's going to, and I mean, he's already demonstrated. What he brings to the Vatican is a completely new ethos of, you know, someone who catches the bus and all. We've heard all this stuff, and he paid for his own bill in the hotel and all this sort of thing. I mean, he's very much... He's not like any previous pope, maybe since John the 23rd anyway, who was very much a man of the people too.
It's so difficult to tell with them, though, isn't it? We were talking to our guest earlier how it's almost like it's a series of codes.
Yes.
It's not like he will come out on that balcony and you will see what type of man he is.
No, but, you know, we believe in the Holy Spirit, you know, because I'm a believer, and we believe that this is meant to happen and there's a reason for it, and we believe this Pope, well, he'll either move us forward or I mean, if he doesn't and moves us backwards, which is how the Church is going, really, I mean, in the end, it will sort of just implode on itself, so he has to move it forward.
And do you think that moving forward, that evolution, and it's evolution, isn't it, rather than revolution?
Yeah.
He's not going to cause a revolution.
Well, what we're hoping is that because he would change the whole structure of how the Church is, and maybe have more dialogue with the laity and listen to what is worrying people, and how women are called to priesthood and they suffer because of it. You know, they can't even test their calling. Now, if he listens to that, if he makes the Church a place where people do listen, then that makes it a place where these reforms can happen. We're not expecting him to say tomorrow, oh, we will ordain women. Of course he won't. But he will make the Church more of a listening Church, I hope.
And tackle some of the big problems that the Church has
Well,
had.
He's got, of course, all the scandals to deal with. Yes, and whether he's the man for that, who knows? But I hope he is, and he certainly seems to be more likely than anybody else.
Thank you very much indeed for coming in. It's lovely to meet you, Pat.
Thank you.
Pat Brown, thank you. Go on, you go on.
Could I just say that Catholic Women's Ordination is 20 years old a week today.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, and we're having a little pray up outside Westminster Cathedral, so come along.
Oh, we wish you well.
Thank you for letting me publicise.
Thank you very much
That's all right.
indeed. Well done for getting that in. It is 14 minutes past 8.